So the Oceania International Championships in Australia was last weekend. That tournament had 25 entrants. International Championships. These are the biggest tournaments besides the World Championships. For the Pokken series, it's a little bit different because in VGC there's like a lot of stuff. There's like Premier Challenges, Mid-Season Showdowns, Regionals, Special Events, Online International Challenges, and then there's the International Championships, which is one step below Worlds. For Pokken, it's a little bit different because that's all they have before Worlds. Because they took out the regionals and they took out the other qualifiers and stuff like that from 2016. I can go into that in depth a little bit later, but not right now. So considering the amount of entrants that got, and the amount of interest Pokken's been getting in general, and the amount of views Pokken's been getting in general, is Pokken Dead? So we're going to talk about those two things. We're going to talk about is Pokken Dead, and we're going to talk about my general thoughts on team battle mode and the Australia International Championships just in general, just the Pokken circuit, and am I going to play in the circuit? So we're going to talk about those two things. I have a ton of things I want to talk about. We're going to talk about those two things for right now. If this video does kind of all right, I might talk about some more stuff. To answer the question, is Pokken Dead, you really have to ask another question. That other question is, are people playing the game? Yes. Then Pokken is not dead. That is the answer to the question. But we're gonna keep getting deeper into this. Are people playing on ranked? Do you have to wait a long time to find a ranked match? No, there are actually too many people on ranked. I wish people would stop playing on ranked and they would play me instead. I wish the Discords were more poppin'. I wish you could find games there. People like to play ranked, so whatever. So the game is not dead. There are people playing the game. Are people going to tournaments to play this game? Are people practicing for it? Yes. So the game is not dead. That is the answer to the question. When people ask, is a game dead though? They're not really asking if the game is dead. Because almost no, if a game is at tournaments, if a game is in the public mind enough to be at major tournaments where people are playing for money, then necessarily the game is not dead. When people ask, is a game dead? They're asking, is it worth me investing all of my time, all of my money, and all of my energy, and that mental, emotional investment into that game? So is it worth investing that much into Pokken Tournament Deluxe? Now we can have like an actual conversation about that, because that's not a straightforward yes. To answer that, let us look at other esports. There are very few games that you can actually play professionally, meaning that you can play that game, make money from that game, that's so sustainable that you can only do that. You don't have to have a day job, you don't have to have a side hustle, you don't have to do anything else except do really well in that game, and you can sustain yourself. Very few games are like that. League of Legends is like that, Defense of the Ancients is like that, Dota 2. StarCraft, depending on who you are, kinda, sorta, but we're gonna talk a little bit more about making money later in this video. Fighting games, as far as esports go, are like at the bottom, right, of like making money. They're like trying to climb up to the League of Legends. They're trying to come up to the Fortnites and Apex and all that stuff. They're trying to get up there, but they're at the bottom of that. Of the top of the bottom, so the top of fighting games, we have Street Fighter. Specifically right now, Street Fighter 5. And then there are other games, but Street Fighter 5 is really the one that it's like, this is the only game, the only fighting game that you could really play, that you could theoretically be so good at that game that somebody sponsors you and pays you enough money so that you don't actually have to work another job. You don't have to do anything else. You can invest all of your time, all of your money, all your effort, all your everything into that game, and then you don't have to really worry about anything else. You know, you don't have to worry about, well, how am I gonna pay my phone bill? How am I gonna pay my water bill? How am I gonna pay rent? You know what I'm saying? Street Fighter. Tekken, kinda. Two of the best Tekken players, JDCR and Saint, they were on Echo Fox and they got let go. And I could speculate on a bunch of different reasons, and they talked about it a little bit in an article, but basically it's not as sustainable to pay players to play Tekken, because the company's not really getting that much back from it. So my point here is that even these really big games in comparison to Pokken are not like sustainable to only play and only like invest everything into. It wouldn't even necessarily be as big of a stretch to say that like you putting all your time and effort into Pokken isn't really any worse or better than putting all of your time and effort into like Tekken, right? Unless you're playing Street Fighter, you're kind of playing a secondary game. Well, Smash also, but I'm not gonna include Smash because that's a outlier. Talk about that another time. Actually, I'm not gonna talk about it because I don't like Smash. Next. So none of these fighting games are really sustainable on their own to put all your time, money, and effort into. So it's not just a Pokken specific thing. So if you can't make money from getting a sponsor, or you can't consistently get a sponsor to make you enough money to keep on playing that game, then what else can you do? What can you do to make it sustainable, to make it worth putting all this time and effort and money into? Well, one of the things you can do, and one of the things that most people have kind of gravitated towards now, is to become a content creator. If you can become big enough on Twitch and big enough on YouTube, then you can make enough money to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm playing this game that's not necessarily as popular, but I have a following that can support me financially through like Patreon or Twitch subs or donations or whatever the case is, that like it's all good. If you look at Eris, for example, Avoiding the Puddle, he streams a bunch of different games, but one of the main games that he streams is Tekken. He doesn't even enter Tekken tournaments, like maybe like twice a year, right? But he's making like, you know, hundreds, literally like over $1,000 like a day from Twitch, just from people subbing and people tipping and things like that. So that's a route that you can go. And that's the route that I'm going, right? Basically what I'm trying to say is Pokken worth investing all of your time and money and effort into? Only if you figure out a way to make it monetarily sustainable for you, which is very hard for Pokken. So the answer to that is probably not. Like, you only get real talk on BadIntent. I don't give you things that are like, you know, PR statements. I'm gonna just be like, because I'm a content creator and I've been making content in Pokken for 3 years since the game came out. Has this been monetarily sustainable? Hell no. It's just not. Also, on the topic of sponsors, because a lot of times people bring up sponsors. It's like, hey man, how come you don't try to get sponsored and stuff like that? Okay, so there's very few people that are actually sponsored for Pokken, and some of the sponsors that are in there are like really suspect. But you have to think about it, right? Pokken doesn't get that many entrants at tournaments. Pokken doesn't have that many people watching content creators. Like if you go, I'm serious. If you go on Twitch and you look up like StarCraft, right? There'll be like 3,000, 5,000 people watching StarCraft. Just no tournament going on at all. Just only community streamers, right? Only just random regular people that you know of just streaming the game. Getting like 100, 200, 500 viewers, but there's enough of them, right? If you look at Pokken, sometimes there'll be nobody streaming Pokken. Sometimes there'll be one person streaming Pokken. They'll get like 5 viewers. Sometimes there'll be like 3 people, and then the total view count will be like 30. And there will be a tournament, and unless it's a TPCi tournament on Pokken Tournament's channel or on the official Pokken channel, there's like, we get like 100 or 200 viewers. It's just not, I don't know what it is. I think one of the biggest obstacles as far as having Pokken be a sustainable game where you can be like a full-time content creator or a full-time tournament player or full-time basically just playing games as far as Pokken goes, is the base of people that consume content is much smaller in comparison to other games versus the amount of people that actually play the game. There are a ton of people on ranked for Pokken, like way too many people. There are a lot of people that play the game. There's a lot of people that bought the game, like if you look at the sales. But the people that watch YouTube video views way down. Like even my views are down. And you look at any YouTube channel that makes Pokken content, they're all down. Doesn't matter how big they were before, they're all down. Twitch, all the views down. Tournament entrants, like consistently, they're on a like really shallow decline. They're not like steep down, but they're down. I don't know what it is, but people play the game, but they don't watch the content. I think it's good to play. I think it's better to play than watch stuff because you're being more productive. But this is where the issue is, right? The issue is
if you want to invest everything into Pokken, you know you're not going to get a sponsor. And even if you do get a sponsor, that sponsor is probably not going to last that long. And look, if the views are this low and nobody that you can possibly sponsor can really promote your brand, like, why would you sponsor something? Like, think about it. If the biggest streamers on Twitch, I'm one of the biggest streamers on Twitch for Pokken, and then I'm not very big. If I'm getting 20 concurrent viewers, why would you sponsor me? Why would you, what am I going to promote to 20 people? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? This is why, as far as getting a sponsorship for Pokken and making that like scalable and sustainable is not really a thing. And as far as a content creator, that's why making money from making content, it can happen. And I'll talk a little bit about my journey doing this, but it's not so much a thing. In fact, if there's anything that I really wanted to start as far as a discussion with this video is why is there such a disconnect between the people that play Pokken and the people that watch content for Pokken and the people that go to tournaments? Why are the people that watch so low, and then why are the people that go to tournaments so low compared to the amount of people that are playing like on ranked? Like, where are these people? You look at other games and it's not like that. There are sometimes you can't even find matches in Tekken, to be honest with you, like depending on what rank you are, because there's so many. The matchmaking system is better in a lot of other games in the sense that rank seems more dead because the game is pretty like strict about, hey, I only want to play people 3 ranks above me or 3 ranks below me or even. And if there's nobody there, it won't match you up with anybody. Pokken, you can be E5 and get matched up with an S5. That's happened and it continues to happen. That's just how that system works. So it might maybe make rank seem like more alive than it is. But my actual point really is, where are the people that are supporting the game? Like, where are they at? Why is there such a difference between that? Clearly people bought the game. Clearly people play the game. But when it comes to watching content and supporting content and going out to tournaments, where are those individuals? You don't see what I do off stream, obviously. But I play a lot of games. I've been playing some StarCraft. I've been playing chess. I've been playing Tekken. I play a lot of Tekken. I'm trying to get up to like 8 hours a day of Tekken, but it's kind of hard. And this brings me to one more thing that I'm going to talk about briefly, which is the future of my channel. So if Pokken is on the decline as far as entrants, as far as all this stuff, am I still going to make Pokken content? Yes, I'm still going to make Pokken content pretty much until the game stops being at tournaments. I'm probably going to keep going to tournaments until it stops being at tournaments, because I just like the game and I'm pretty good at the game. I think I'm one of the best players in the United States for the game, so I want to be able to prove that, and I want to be able to do well at major tournaments. And ideally, I want to win one or a few major tournaments for Pokken Tournament Deluxe. But I'm also investing a whole lot of time into Tekken because I know that eventually I want to transition my channel into not just being Pokken, but playing Tekken. A lot of people say, hey man, how come you don't upload a bunch of other games? And it's like, well, have you looked at any channel who has uploaded multiple games? There's a reason that I don't have a variety channel. There's a reason why when people start variety channels, their channels, they're like dead on arrival. Because think about it, if you upload 6 different games on 6 different days, if somebody comes and they want to watch you play like VGC, for example, because I uploaded a few VGC videos. If somebody comes to watch you play VGC, and then on Monday you're playing VGC, and then on Tuesday you're playing Pokken, Wednesday you're playing Resident Evil, Thursday you're playing like Mario Kart, Friday you're playing The Sims, and then Saturday you're playing like Smash. Like, I'm probably going to not watch any of the stuff that you put out on, you know, the rest of the days of the week, and then I might watch, you know, the VGC video. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't have a variety channel. That's why I don't recommend a variety channel. That's why I've seen how those work. Variety channels work after you've grown. Even look at Eris, Avoiding the Puddle. He uploads a bunch of different games and he gets like, you know, a good audience. But he didn't get that by like, hey, every day I'm gonna stream a different game. He got that because he only streamed Tekken. Only streamed Tekken. And then he got a big following from people that watch Tekken. He only streamed Tekken for a really long time. Then he started streaming like Dark Souls. And then he slowly started branching out to these other games. But for years, he only streamed,
It was, I think it was Tekken 6 where he did like Electric Wind God Fridays, where he streamed like his local tournament. And then he started streaming Tekken Tag Tournament 2 online. But then later, he started branching out. And this was like years after, right? So that's the trajectory you need to go. You can't be like, all right, let me split up into 6 different things and then let me like make them all grow. It's like, that's not how a viewer thinks, and that's not how growing on YouTube works. You niche down and then you expand. You build out after you've niched down. And I've niched down into Pokken, and I've gone really hardcore on Pokken. And so while I'm going hardcore on Pokken, I've been working on Tekken. And then once I get good enough at Tekken to be confident to make Tekken content, then I'll make some Tekken content. And then I sporadically put out stuff just to see, you know, if there's any interest at all for it and if the content looks good and stuff like that. So as far as BadIntent's channel goes, you can rest assured that I'm still going to be making Pokken content for the foreseeable future. And then eventually there's going to be some Tekken stuff here, but you know, that's whatever. And I really do look forward to getting really good at that game. I'm trying to become a top player for it. Now let me get back to the 3v3 situation, because since I'm trying to get to tournaments and I'm trying to, you know, make it playing Pokken and video games in general, am I going to be playing the TPCi circuit? Because a lot of people have asked me, am I going to be playing in that circuit? Probably not. The reason is because 3v3 is cool. I like 3v3. I actually kind of like 3v3 better than 1v1 in a lot of ways. I talked about this in my Pokken Talk before, and one of my previous videos where I was talking about, hey, Worlds is 3v3 now. I like 3v3. But what I don't like is the Hori controller. I believe this controller is trash. I think it is a POS. I'm not going to play on it. And they require you to only play on that. And this is the thing that you're going to learn about me, if you haven't learned it about me already. I don't do things that I don't like to do. I just don't do them. If I don't like a job, I quit the job. If I don't like the mechanics in the game, I don't play the game. Have you noticed I don't play very much VGC? I don't like Moon Series. I don't like Sun Series. I don't like paralysis. I don't like critical hits. I don't like damage rolls. I don't like any of the RNG associated with VGC. It was associated with Pokemon competitively in general. So I don't play that game. I just don't. You know, I just don't feel like it. Like, it's like I just don't want to. The same thing goes for Pokemon Worlds. It's like, oh, they're playing on that controller? Well, I don't feel like playing on the controller, so I'm not gonna. Like, do I have to do something that somebody else says that I should probably do? Like, hell no. Like, I'm just not gonna do it. But let me give my thoughts on 3v3 in general. At the Australia International Championships, I think you saw the flaw with announcing 3v3 so late. There were a lot of people that were playing that game that didn't really play any other characters besides one. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna call out any names, but it was very clear that there were some people there that had a pretty good main. Like, their main was like actually OG. But then when they got to their second or third character, it was like they just picked up the game. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of jarring to watch, honestly. And I think they should have announced it earlier or something, I don't know. But changing the format like that was, overall, like in the long term, I think it's probably going to look nice, and you're gonna see better matches at like the North America International Championships. But it was kind of sus at Australia. Like, I like 3v3, but that wasn't what 3v3 is supposed to really look like. It's not supposed to. The 3v3 right now, it's not about your team composition. It's not about you just being really good overall. 3v3 is about, do you even play 3 characters? And the answer for like 80% of the people that play is no. Most people don't even really play 2 characters at a high level. They maybe play like 1 good character and then a pocket for like 2 or 3 matches, but they don't really know any other matchups. I'm actually one of the few people that actually can play 3 characters. Like, I really can play Shadow Mewtwo. Against the entire cast, I understand it, and I just play Shadow Mewtwo. Blaziken against the entire cast, I understand. I'm not going to win against every matchup, but I understand every matchup. Darkrai, I know about like 50 to 60% of the matchups. The rest of them, I kind of wing it because I don't really use Darkrai. Like, I'm not going to play Darkrai against Chandelure, so I don't really like explore it that much. But that's already way more than like 80% of the people. So I would do well in 3v3. However, I don't like the Hori controller, so I'm not going to play on the Hori controller. 3v3 tournaments are pretty much only TPCi tournaments, and they're all on the Hori controller, so I'm just not going to play it. But I'll watch it, and I'll still make videos about it. But, you know, if you want to see me at major tournaments, it's going to be at one of those 1v1 events. So I think that's it. This video's been pretty long.
Just to summarize real quick, is Pokken dead? No. Is Pokken on the decline as far as viewership and as far as like Twitch numbers and all that stuff goes? Yes, it is on the decline. Can you make money doing this like full time? I don't think you can necessarily do it full time. I launched Pokken Basics, which is a course, which is something that I didn't even think I would even be able to do. I get subscribers on Twitch. I get some donations from people that are very generous, like people that are watching this YouTube video right now, and I thank you very much for that. As far as sustainable over a long period of time, probably not. I would say if you like Pokken, if you really like Pokken and you really want to like make something of like just gaming in general, play Pokken and play something else. You don't have to only play Pokken. I don't even think you should only ever play one game. I don't think you should only play Tekken. I don't even think you should only play StarCraft. Take the skills that you've learned from Pokken and play Soul Calibur also, and play Tekken also, and play Smash also, or whatever else you want to play. Play multiple games so that you can get the best from these different communities. That's what I would do. And then as far as 3v3 goes, I love it, and team battle mode, it's cool, but TPCi tournaments, you ain't gonna really see me at. It's just ain't really gonna happen. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully this was at least somewhat entertaining. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Peace.